story this hour from ABC News. Sources tell ABC that Chinese spies hacked into the cell phone of one of President-elect Trump's top attorneys.
Multiple sources tell ABC News hackers working for China's intelligence service broke into a phone belonging to Trump's lead criminal defense attorney Todd Blanche. The sources say the Chinese hackers gained access to Blanche's text messages, even captured audio recordings of some of his calls. Most of them we're told were with family and friends, but the FBI is now working to determine whether more sensitive communications were also compromised.
ABC News senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katursky reporting. Your money at this moment, the Dow is at up 265. We're at 43,995. Coming up, it looks like we'll be in the 40s today with mostly sunny skies, but let's check KSL weather next. KSL News Time, 9:02.
News doesn't just mean information or dates.
It's the story of our local history being told in real time.
Be a part of the story. This is Tim Hughes and Amanda Dixon.
We hope to be a part of your story. We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Stop paying 5-star pricing for 3-star service. It's time for a change. Welcome to Beehive Plumbing's Premier Experience. With our Beehive Premier plan, you have access to our VIP phone number and website to ensure prompt and reliable plumbing service by an expert 5-star technician. Why Beehive? Our Premier package comes with an industry-leading warranty, giving you up to 10 years of coverage on both parts and labor. Yeah, that's right, 10-year warranty. Call Beehive Plumbing today or visit beehivepremier.com for expert experience every time.
Get up to a 30% upfront bonus to use for your retirement income or up to 12% per year to help grow your retirement income. Whether you're in retirement or will be retiring within 10 years, Trajan Wealth can offer some of the highest guarantees in the business. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I know no one wants to work forever. We all need to retire someday, and I know you've worked hard for your money, so now is the time to guarantee it. Take advantage of up to a 30% upfront bonus for your retirement income or up to 12% per year for retirement income. Don't woulda, shoulda, coulda. Get up to a 30% bonus just for opening an account or up to 12% per year for retirement income. Don't leave your retirement to chance. Retire the right way, the Trajan way with Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. DBA in most states says Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
It's Rivalry Week. Let KSL News Radio and Advanced Window Products get you ready for the big game at a special tailgate party. Join us this Friday from 3 to 6 at Chip Cookies in Fort Union. We'll be there with a special offer from Advanced Window Products. Factory direct affordable windows. Call today. They're on their way. Friday from 3 to 6 at Chip Cookies in Fort Union with Advanced Windows. And your home for the rivalry game. KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's Dino Pay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
We have big delays right now eastbound I-84 up in Weber County. You've got 3 miles of pretty much stopped traffic approaching the US 89 interchange all the way into Weber Canyon past the power plant. It's due to a crash, still blocking the left lane and shoulder. And then that's causing delays for people on US 89 itself, especially northbound from Weber Drive up to the I-84 interchange. So it's going to take at least 30 minutes or more now if you're trying to get over to Mountain Green. The good news is the rest of the drive across the Wasatch Front is in good shape, especially on I-15. Get started on your dream kitchen or bath countertops with special financing from Bedrock Quartz for up to 18 months. Visit bedrockquartz.com for details. That's bedrockquartz.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be sunny with the highs in the upper 40s. Right now it's 36 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
I guess I could say maybe I have seen, Dave, in all the years, you've been in news together, something as catastrophic as what happened to that home and that teenage boy in South Jordan. But I was showing you the video this morning from Chopper 5 of that home explosion. And now that we know from officials that it was a natural gas leak that was behind the cause of that explosion, what were your initial thoughts when you saw that video of that home?
How could anybody anywhere near that area survive? That explosion was so massive and destructive and heartbreaking. At the same time, if you're anywhere near that area, how was the devastation not even worse and more injuries and deaths? It was terrifying to watch that video.
We're going to go in depth on that right off the top of the show, and we're also going to have some safety steps from an expert talking about natural gas and the concerns that surrounding natural gas, because we just think that this is such a sad and important story to talk about today.
We all have natural gas in our homes. Many of us do. The vast majority have natural gas coming into our homes on some level, whether it's a stove, a furnace. It comes in often. I had it in a barbecue in my backyard. I mean, it's all over the place. So this will be important information to break down where the dangers are, what to notice. It's 9:08. It's time for the launch.
Sequence engaged.
And here are 3 things that Debbie wants you to know.
Countdown. 3.
It's not every day, Dave, that we hear about or talk about political stories where Republicans and Democrats come together to find solutions. Well, I saw one this morning. I thought we got to talk about this. Newly elected Republican Attorney General Derek Brown's first move, at least from what I'm reading, is he's building a transition team of Republicans and Democrats. These are attorneys, authors, law enforcers, business leaders, to take a really hard look and analyze what's wrong, what's right, what needs to be fixed with the Attorney General's office. He's talked to the media about this already, but we've also asked him to join at 10:05 to give us an in-depth look at what he plans and what he wants to see done.
I think the key is transparency. What you need to do is create a system where people understand what you're doing.
And transparency is absolutely key. The next step, though, is are you willing to make dramatic changes when you find out there's a lot of warts on the face of the AG's office? I'm not saying they will find the warts. I'm just saying, do you have the resolve to say, oh, we're going to make massive changes if the commission comes together and says, hey, these are areas that need massive overhauls?
Countdown to...
Well, what major city doesn't have some parking problems, right? Well, we're going to take you to downtown Ogden in just a few minutes. They've got some parking problems. Too many drivers, not enough parking spaces. That sounds familiar. Well, there was a plan underway to implement some paid parking in the downtown area. So what happened? Why did the city slam the brakes on the idea? We got the Ogden mayor calling into the show live at 9:35.
Parking might be the absolute last thing that people think of. And it's the number one frustration. It keeps me from coming downtown, quite honestly, is the headaches of parking downtown Salt Lake. I just don't want to bother with it. I'll spend $100 on a meal. But that $12 parking and having to think about, oh, do I have to go feed the meter? And do I have enough time? Or do we have to rush through appetizers? Is one of the biggest frustrations I have.
Did that the other night, Dave.
Oh, resonate much? Everyone's been there. Like, we can have lunch as long as it's 43 minutes. Then I've got to move the car.
Launch countdown 1.
We now know, as we were just talking about, that it was a natural gas leak, according to authorities, that caused a home explosion in South Jordan this week. This was absolutely devastating. I know a lot of my neighbors have been in the Facebook chat about it, trying to see what they can do to help the family of this 15-year-old who was killed. He's a Bingham High School student. We broke that news yesterday, such sad news. We're also going to not only talk about what happened there in South Jordan, but we're also going to ask an emergency management expert about natural gas leaks in and around our homes and the best ways to keep our families safe. You know, Dave, I drive by Bingham High just about every day. After school, before school, I drove by it this morning, and I said a prayer for this family. I mean, it's just so devastating. And I know the students, the community, his neighbors are so devastated for this boy and what happened to him and his family.
It was pretty overwhelming to see, what had happened. 15-year-old boy, that's heartbreaking. My daughter was pretty close to his age, and they carpooled together and things like that, and she's heartbroken.
Watching the doorbell cameras, Chopper 5, it was sobering. It was an aha moment for me to realize the potential danger of this that runs into our home. Now, this doesn't happen basically ever. It's such an aberration. But if there are important steps to take to make sure that this kind of devastation doesn't touch your family or your community, we're going to dive into that and figure out what you need to know to keep everybody safe.
Dave and Dujanovic.
The Launch.
Commence.
Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
You know, we had been waiting for word on what caused that house in South Jordan. It's just off about 105th South, not too far from Bingham High. We were waiting for word here on what caused that explosion. And we got the word last night from officials. I read it on our email here at Broadcast House last night as I was sitting on my sofa because I, got a news alert, Dave, that the cause had been announced. So I read it, and they said it was a natural gas leak. So they've confirmed that, and we know that this 15-year-old Bingham High boy student, he was killed. It took a while for authorities, fire officials, to announce that they had found his body. And just looking at that video, Dave, you and I were looking at it this morning in our meeting, and what did you think?
There was a couple things. Number one, there's a doorbell camera piece of video that we saw, and you couldn't really see the explosion. You could hear it, but the debris that just passed over that camera as it was falling down, basically it looked like a snowstorm of ash and debris that was falling down into neighbors' yards. And then we see Chopper 5 flying around and circling, and this house has been leveled. There's a little bit of standing area in the front, but I realize there's no chance anyone could have survived this. If anyone was in there, there's no chance they could have survived.
Remember that part of the house that just looked like it had collapsed forward? Mm-hmm. It was intact. It looked like there had been at one point like a window there, and it was, and then just debris all over the yard. Part of the fence had been blown out. And when we found out, Dave, that, when we talked about the natural gas leak being the cause, what were your thoughts?
I've had natural gas in my house for 25 years. My entire life, growing up until just recently.
So
our
many
town
do.
home. And we are not unique. And Debbie, I was thinking, I've changed out my water heater. I've turned my gas on. I've turned it off. I've reconnected gas. I've done the water test to make sure there's gas leaks. I've run the monitors. But I'm not a professional. I mess with gasoline. I have over the years, the natural gas coming into my house, many times. We've never had an issue, but I'm not a professional either. So I do want to know, what is appropriate? What should I call professionals to have take care of? Or what can I do myself? How much danger is this? Because it's so common here in the state. that we have natural gas.
Well, and I want to point out, we don't know exactly like the source of what this leak was,
Yes.
but I do think you bring up a point that a lot of people think about, and I have what I call COVID nose, where I don't have my entire sense of smell back from when I got the Delta variant back in 20? Yeah. Late 20, late 20. Yeah, I can't remember. I've had it 3 times now, so.
Hard to keep track of them.
But I don't, my sense of smell.
3-4 years later, it hasn't returned completely.
100%. Now, can I smell the natural gas when it lights up on my stove? Yeah, I can smell it if it's not totally turned on or something like that. But if I walk in the next room, I have a hard time even smelling a scented candle burning if it's not real close to me.
And
that
Debbie,
concerns me.
I learned something about if you're over 40, something you need to know about your sniffer, your smell, and you'll be surprised at how many people, if you're over 40, have diminished smell.
Oh, wow. Straight ahead, we're going to get the Division of Emergency Management, an expert from the Division of Emergency Management, live on the line to tell us what we need to know about natural gas leaks to keep our families safe.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Debbie go out of their way to make sure you hear all sides of a story.
They're working the phones to get several viewpoints on for you.
Hi, it's Tim and Amanda. We get you the full story, too.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
The KSL News Radio app will update you on breaking stories.
A house explosion this afternoon.
And you'll get exclusive audio streams from local events, breaking news, and sports.
Cougars feel like they can overcome anything.
All of your favorite KSL hosts are there too, so you can listen anytime. Plus traffic and weather. Download it today. The app for KSL News Radio.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select Costco locations in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local Costco today. Navage, Navage, breathe easy.
Steve, NPS is my favorite place to save money. It's called a nice place to save for a reason because they have such great deals on everything from clothing to electronics to food. We like to do our grocery shopping before we hit the actual grocery store. We check and see what we can get. Sometimes, actually, I'm going to just be honest, every time I end up taking home things that I didn't expect to, but they're so perfectly priced that I can't say no to it.
And this is the thing that people need to understand is it's like 20 to 30 or 70% off on merchandise, and these are all brand new items. These are not returns, not a thrift store. This is a full-on retail store that just happens to get these containers full of product.
Yeah.
And then they put them on the shelves and,
And they price it to move. Here's the thing. You want to shop in the store more than once a week. They have daily flash sales. Sometimes they have something that's 70% off.
Yeah.
Each store has its own sale. So go more than once. Because remember, too, when you go to NPS, if you snooze,
you lose.
And you don't want to do that. 4 locations, 2 in Salt Lake, 1 in Layton, and 1 in Orem.
When it comes to your electrical system, do you know the warning signs to look for? What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's okay if you don't know, but here are a few things that you might not even realize could be a sign of a bigger problem. Wall plates that are hot to the touch, discoloration around switches or outlets, if you hear crackling or popping or buzzing around switches or outlets, a breaker that trips a lot, switches that feel loose when you operate them, if your lights dim or flicker when a major appliance comes on, if your plugs fall out of the wall easily. You know, you're not supposed to have to bend the prongs out on a plug just to get it to stay in the wall. If you notice any of these things, you should consider having a licensed electrician check your system out. If you don't know anyone, Any Hour Services has put together a radio-only special for any homeowners listening. One of our licensed electricians will perform a comprehensive electrical inspection and give you a full written report for only $29. But you have to mention this ad when you call. To schedule your comprehensive electrical inspection by a licensed electrician for only $29, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7300. That's 801-443-7300. Any Hour Services.
Quiet down. Here she comes. Shh. Surprise! Your accountant just emailed to say your quarterly taxes are way higher than you were expecting.
At Progressive, we know small business owners don't usually like surprises because they cost you money. But a good surprise that could save you money? Getting discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive.
Also, your favorite employee is leaving. They're going to pursue their dream of being a veterinarian.
Surprise yourself. See if you can save in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, the plan to put paid parking in downtown Ogden is on hold after the mayor said he wants to hear more from business owners in the area. Second, a 15-year-old was shot at West High School yesterday afternoon, but no one knew about it until a few hours later. Third, Utah Senator Mike Lee's name has been tossed around for a potential spot in the Trump administration. Right now, sunny and 36 degrees downtown. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
We are talking about this house explosion that happened earlier this week in South Jordan. We're just, getting information over the last couple of days about what led up to this home being basically all but leveled. And it was a 15-year-old Bingham High School student who was killed. I remember getting the alert on it, Dave, at just in the afternoon. There started to be some chatter in my community about a massive fire at about, off 106 South at about 32nd West. Well, we've since learned in the last, couple of days that a 15-year-old Bingham High School student was killed. It was in the afternoon at 3 p.m. when the fire was reported. And now we know it was a natural gas leak, according to what authorities have released to the press, that caused this explosion in South Jordan.
Now, as we talk about this isn't to demonize or scare you from using natural gas. We're gonna talk about some practical things we can do to keep safe. But I had no idea. I didn't realize how common natural gas runs through our homes. I'm pulling up the U.S. Energy information that says that 8 out of 10 Utah households use natural gas as their primary heating source. So 80% of Utah is using it to heat their homes. This is the highest share in the entire United States. We heat our homes with natural gas more than any other state in the country. So this affects you, right? This is the stuff that we need to know about because you've had it in your home. I've had it in mine.
Water heater, stove. My stove runs off natural gas. I was cooking with it last night.
And do we know how to keep ourselves safe? Because we're not technicians here. We have some basic knowledge, but what can we do to make sure we're safe?
As we're bringing on Brian Stinson with Be Ready Utah in the Division of Emergency Management, I do want to point out something with this particular home explosion, Dave, that we're talking about. And I thought you said it quite well early on. It was like in the show how anybody would be able to know or survive or anything. This was just completely. This home looked like it was obliterated.
Yes, and you can see from these videos from Chopper 5, they still had this smoldering ashes. That's how quickly Chopper 5 had arrived, and the home was obliterated. Mm-hmm. And, a few standing walls, but largely it had just been flattened.
Brian Stinson, we know we're not going to talk specifically about this particular situation. We know it's still under investigation. We've reached out to South Jordan and the fire department there to ask them to join us. Hopefully they can join us in the show today. But when let's talk about just in general. My fear is I don't know what sparks natural gas to explode like that. So can you give us some ideas of where we might be at risk with that?
Well, thanks for having me on. First of all, I want to restate what you guys said. For the most part, natural gas, it is safe to use. It is part of our everyday life. But that being said, there are some things that you can do to make sure that you're using it safely. A really good thing to do is to have your gas appliances serviced yearly. Like you said, the water heater, the furnace, the gas stove. Some people even have gas clothes dryers or a gas fireplace. Make sure that they're serviced yearly and just make sure everything is connected correctly.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Other things is make sure you're not storing flammable things next to your gas appliances. No flammable chemicals, cloth, anything like that. Another thing is keep your gas meters clear and easy to access. A lot of times here in winter, your gas heater might get some snow and ice on it. Carefully clear that off. Make sure that your gas meters are always easy to access. Another thing you can do is if you have small children and a gas stove, there are some safety covers that you can put on the knobs of the gas stove to make sure that those aren't accidentally turned on.
You know, Brian, that's a good point. I was recently having some work done a few weeks ago in my kitchen, and by accident, as we were leaning in and trying to remove the microwave oven, we were leaning up against the knobs on the front of the gas stove that I have, and there would be an occasional odor. I was real close by it, so we could smell it, of gas. Well, if we had walked away from that and not realized it as we were taking the microwave away from the area, that could, compound the situation. Well, what is it that could spark, if there's gas piling up in my kitchen or in my living room area, what sparks an explosion or, something that could put my family in danger? Is it a cell phone? Well, I don't know.
Well, first of all, if you do smell the gas, you do want to get everybody out immediately. You don't try and find the source. Some things that could set it off would be anything like you were saying, using any appliance, using your phone, turning on a light switch. You don't even want to use a flashlight or your phone. You obviously don't want to be smoking or lighting a match or anything like that. If you do smell a gas leak, or sometimes it's so faint you may not even be able to smell it, but there might be a broken pipe in the case of like an earthquake or something like that, you might be able to hear gas escaping. If there's any thought that there might be a gas leak, get everybody out of the house to a safe distance. If you can safely, shut off the gas to your home at the gas meter outside. We recommend keeping an adjustable wrench or a gas shutoff tool near your meter. And then only do that if you can do so safely. And then from a safe distance, call 911 or the local gas company.
Okay. Brian, final question. We got about a minute left. I know we have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide meters. Is there something that detects natural gas?
I'm not aware of that specifically. I know that the gas companies do have meters that can smell those or however it detects it. Yeah. But I'm not aware of anything commercial or available to the public.
Okay. Well, thanks, Brian. Brian Stinson, Be Ready Utah, Division of Emergency Management. We appreciate your help walking us through this as we talk about this natural gas leak that's now been pointed to as the cause for a home explosion in South Jordan.
And that was a great tip about knowing where your outside shutoff valve is.
I was just thinking about that, Dave.
And his description of have a wrench sitting there so that if you do go outside, you're not rummaging through your garage or something, that it's there, that if you need to shut it off, you can do it from outside.
You and I both live in townhomes. I know where the natural gas is located, but it's around the side of my townhome. And I got to be honest, I don't know if I would know how to shut it off.
Yeah, and that's a great point.
I need to go figure that out, Dave.
Yeah, you can have a technician or a professional, a plumber that can come out and perhaps show you how to do that. But one thing interesting about my townhome that we just moved into, no natural gas.
Really?
They did, and they told us
Electric
when we were
only?
buying it, they said, we don't have it, don't expect it, it'll never be here.
Was that?
So they just removed it.
Oh, that's unique.
I have no idea
Given how
why
many
or
homes
if there
have
was
natural
a reason behind it, but they just told us, no natural gas. Though we are in the minority. More than 80% of homes here in Utah use natural gas to heat their houses, and that's the highest in the entire country.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. Our top story this hour, BYU and Utah face off tomorrow night as the Cougars look to stay undefeated and the Utes look to snap a 4-game losing streak. Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham says stopping BYU quarterback Jake Retzloff will be important for the Utes.
I'd say the QB is the catalyst. You look at individual rushers, individual receivers. There's nobody that just jumps out statistically. It's a collaborative effort, but the quarterback is the catalyst, in my opinion.
Kickoff is at 8:15 tomorrow night at Rice-Eccles Stadium. You can listen to the game live here on KSL News Radio. UTA is helping out both teams by offering free rides to fans who are headed to and from the game. You just have to show your ticket for the game as proof of fare. It includes all UTA services, buses, Frontrunner, S-Line, Trax, and UTA. Our top national story this hour from ABC News, the mountain fire is racing through Ventura County in Southern California. Strong Santa Ana winds are powering that storm. The cause of the fire is unknown. Matt Gutman is there following developments.
Ventura County under a state of emergency as the so-called mountain fire west of Los Angeles exploded in size. The mountain fire growing to over 20,000 acres in just 36 hours. Lower winds late Thursday allowing firefighters and fleets of helicopters to pour resources on hotspots. But at one point early on, the fire turbocharged by hurricane-force Santa Ana winds, burning 2,000 acres an hour.
Over 200 structures, mostly homes, have been destroyed. 400 additional homes have been evacuated. Your money at this moment, the Dow is back over 44,000. We're at 44,025. Coming up, it looks like we'll be in the 40s today with mostly sunny skies, but we'll check KSL weather next. KSL News Time, 9:32. Great about KSL's traffic coverage? Trained traffic reporters and real listeners.
Trading information and making the commute safer and faster for everyone.
Every 10 minutes on the 9s, we have you covered on KSL News Radio.
When I start thinking about water heaters, I've actually done this experiment. Connecticut of Utah said, you know what, you could probably do this experiment more hypothetically than anything. But if you take two water heaters and you have one that runs hard water and the other one that runs soft water, compare how much longer one lasts versus the other. Well, I didn't have them running side by side, but for one water heater, I had hard water, and it basically broke down within just a matter of years. And then when I had Connecticut install our soft water heater or our water softener, the water heater lasted years longer in our house, and it was because the hard water was not breaking everything down. I've loved having soft water from Connecticut, and I really looked at it as an investment in my home. So if you're interested in getting soft water into your house, go ahead and reach out to Connecticut of Utah. They're an authorized Connecticut dealer, obviously. 801-576-8600. That's 801-576-8600, or you can check them out online at softwaterutah.com.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
It's about time someone offered you a complete custom kitchen and bath, remodeled, designed, and built to your specifications and style in just 3 days. It's about time someone offered you a written, unconditional 100% satisfaction guarantee on both their quality and craftsmanship. It's about time someone gave you free professional design and decorating assistance to create your perfect kitchen or bath. And when you remodel your kitchen, you'll save $500 off a complete custom bathroom. Call 3-Day Kitchen and Bath today for your free copy of the Home Remodeling Guide, plus $500 off a complete bathroom remodel and a free design consultation.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Hi, my name is Kendon Holdaway, and I work for the National Kidney Foundation of Utah and Idaho. Before that, I worked as a dialysis technician at the largest dialysis center in Utah. And before that, I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease at age 14. However, I am one of the lucky ones. I have an amazing mother who gave me a second chance. She donated her kidney to me, and it changed my life. Thanks to her and a scholarship from the Kidney Foundation, I was able to graduate college, get married, and apply to medical school in hopes of becoming a doctor. Sadly, there are many who are not as lucky as I am. Every car you donate to towcars.org gives hope and help to 3,000 patients like me, many of whom are still waiting for their miracle. Towing is free and donations are tax deductible. Keep donations local by donating online at towkars.org. That's tow cars with a K, like kidney.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, all lanes of I-84 are now open eastbound as you head into Weber Canyon, trying to get toward Mountain Green. But we still have a little bit of residual delay on US 89 northbound, trying to get onto eastbound I-84. That should clear out very quickly now that everybody's moving again. You still have a little bit of slowing as well in the Salt Lake Valley on Bangerter Highway, both directions, trying to get on the 201 freeway. But other than that, you're free and clear anywhere you want to go. When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing exceptional service from 4 dealers: Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, Performance Toyota, and Truck Country. See performancebountiful.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Today will be sunny with a high around 48 degrees. Right now it's 37 downtown. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Before we bring Mayor Ben Dodowski from Ogden City live on the line, Dave, to talk about the parking issues up in the city of Ogden, we just wanted to make sure that you were aware that there are natural gas detectors that are available. I found one this morning on Amazon, and in fact, the Division of Emergency Management, we were just talking to Brian Stinson with Be Ready Utah. He called our producer back and said, he had said that he didn't think there were any available on the market. He said, yes, in fact, there are some, and I just purchased one, Dave, on Amazon for $32. It'll detect natural gas, carbon monoxide, and other gases inside the home, according to what the description says. The reason we wanted to make sure you knew that is because of this natural gas explosion inside this home in South Jordan that we've been talking about this morning.
And it's so incredibly common here in Utah. It's what we use to heat our homes is natural gas. And we just want to make sure that as rare as this is and how uncommon it is to have these natural gas explosions, there still are some precautions that we can take in one of these, $30, $50 monitors that you can install that detects some sort of a leak. Seems like a great idea.
Yeah, we don't know all the ins and outs of what this investigation will show in terms of, what led up to this, but we do know it was absolutely devastating. The 15-year-old student at Bingham High School from Bingham High School was killed in that. I know the school has been in mourning. The neighborhood has been in mourning. His family is just absolutely devastated by this. So as we're talking to Be Ready Utah, I think we got some really good actionable steps that we could take as, homeowners to, make sure we're doing all we can just in case. Right now, let's turn our attention to what's going on in the city of Ogden. And they had this parking plan that was in place, or so we thought, or was being talked about, that would have led to some paid parking and perhaps alleviating some of the parking headaches that go on up there for drivers. And then we read the plan was put on hold.
And I will be totally honest, downtown and parking, whether it's in Ogden or Salt Lake or down in Provo, it is a nightmare, and everybody's struggling with it. In fact, it's parking headaches, costs, kiosks. It keeps me from going downtown because I just don't want to battle with the parking. So I think a lot of mayors, community managers are trying to figure out, okay, how do we make this not the most miserable part of your day? Mayor Ben Nadolski joins us right now, mayor of Ogden. And Mayor, give us an idea. Where are we at so far with this?
Hey, thanks for having me today. And before we start, I just want to say that on behalf of Ogden, our hearts go out to the family involved in this story that you just shared.
Thanks, Mayor.
Of course. I'll just say that parking is a challenge that mayors across the country are facing. It's a problem, and I use the word problem. It's actually a challenge. It's almost a good thing to have because it signals that your economy is booming, that you've got people coming to your city, visiting your downtown, businesses doing business and thriving and succeeding in your downtown. Those are all the things that come with challenges around parking. And so we can focus on all the bad things, but it's important when we talk about this, we talk about the good things that led to this.
So there seemed to be, according to the Standard Examiner article that we've been reading, there seemed to be a plan in place that there was going to be some paid parking, some installation of kiosks, and the first paid parking rollout would happen in January, like right around the corner, January 2025. And then the brakes went on this. Why?
So I wouldn't say there is a plan. I'd say that we are planning. We've been planning and talking about how best to manage parking for the better part of 2-3 years. We've done 27 public engagement and outreach sessions and have received a ton of feedback from public and from business owners. And I wouldn't say, I pump the brakes only in the sense that we're more than happy to move the timeline to make sure that we get it right. And it was really clear to us that we've got a lot of business owners that are absolutely in the trenches, have their sleeves rolled up, and are really busy doing hard work and doing the business of succeeding in business. And in their defense, they don't have time to step out from that and get engaged in those public processes. And so I pushed pause because it's important that we don't expect and demand them to meet us where we are. Let's take some time and meet them where they're at. And that's the work that's been taking place. And frankly, it's been really healthy on balance because it really has shined a light on a number of different things that the city can do to help serve businesses downtown, starting with meeting them where they're at and making sure that we provide engagement opportunities that work for everybody, not just those that were able to show up and meet us where we were at.
Is the business community concerned that if you start having parking kiosks all over the place, that it will drive people away from downtown?
Absolutely. And if I'm not concerned about that, I shouldn't be the mayor. It's my responsibility to make sure people succeed in the city, including business owners and especially business owners. So that's absolutely a concern for everyone involved. And as I've reached out to business owners, and I've done a ton of one-on-ones ever since pressing pause, I've gone door to door and met one-on-one with individual business owners that weren't able to engage with us. And what I do hear is that parking is an issue. It's almost universal that business owners want us to manage parking. And I'm encouraging everybody, including you guys and anybody listening, to not think about this in terms of paid parking, but to think of it in terms of managing parking. Managing parking involves a lot more than kiosks, quote, kiosk downtown. It means proper planning. It could be timed parking. It could be enforcement of existing parking. It can be a whole suite of tools and things that are at our avail. But if we continue to focus on the negative, that's all we're going to get. When I talk to the business owners, they tell me, look, we understand that something needs to be done. They also understand and have begun to talk with each other, and they're hearing input from one another that is like, okay, we've got other businesses that are demanding change. And everybody seems to be in some level of agreement that we've got work to do to make parking much, much better so that we can lift the ceiling off of the potential for businesses downtown. It's an issue that's holding businesses back.
Mayor, Ogden Mayor Ben Nodowski, I just on the line with us about parking in the downtown Ogden area. And we perhaps should have started with this question so our listeners were clear if we don't go up to Ogden very often. Is parking there in the downtown area, street parking, free right now?
Yes.
Okay.
100% free. Yep.
Okay. So it's 100% free. And as part of this plan, this parking solution plan, the potential was there to install kiosks that would have required payment to park.
That's
right?
an option. That's an option and a tool that we're considering, and we're pressing pause to get more feedback on that tool and many, many others and we want the feedback to come from the businesses, not just for us to them.
Mayor Nadolski, thank you for joining us.
When we're talking to the mayor and I'm thinking about parking nightmares that I've had, quite often, Dave, I have circled a block and then 2 blocks, and then I'm in the outer perimeter, and I keep circling back in. It's the point where I just want to drive home and try it again the next day. I had this happen recently in downtown Salt Lake City, and it's not just downtown Salt Lake City. It can be any booming community on a Friday night with concerts going on in the park and people converging in the area to go to dinner with friends and family and whatever, coworkers. And this happened to me not too long ago where I don't even know how many times I was like a hawk circling over and over and over just looking for street parking in downtown. I could have eaten 3 meals by the time I was able to. I felt like I was stealing a parking spot from somebody. You know, I was stalking that one spot. Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about your worst parking nightmare. What is your parking experience like when you try to come into any downtown area? Dave's got a story. I've got more stories. Share your story. 801-575-TALK. 801-575-TALK. Let's take your live calls next.
Finally Friday.
I know you're sick of the political climate, and every day you fight a hopeless war. I know you think your girlfriend hates you in secret, but don't take it out on me. It's nothing to do with me.
With Dave and Dujanovic.
One of the things I love about Salt Lake City Fat Loss is how often they would touch base with me. It's not just one of those programs that you can begin and then you never hear from them again. They're just follow the program. No, every single day they would send me a video, a text message, something that reminded me, hey, this is the plan. This is why you're doing it. Salt Lake City Fat Loss has the secret to losing up to a pound of fat a day. Many people will lose 20 to 30 pounds. I have 2 friends just recently that have lost more than 30 pounds in 6 weeks, in 8 weeks. And it was incredible with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. I lost 57 pounds in just 60 days. And I did it without surgery and without injections. So no shots. And that was a big one for me. I didn't want to do surgery. I didn't want to do injections. And with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, I saw incredible results. So if you're interested, go ahead and reach out to them. Schedule a free consultation at slcfatloss.com. Very easy to remember, slcfatloss.com.
As election season winds down, it's time to cast the most important vote of all. Which team you're cheering on in this year's rivalry game. It's KSL's Ballot Battle. Go to KSLNewsRadio.com and cast your ballot. Vote BYU or Utah. When you vote, you're in to win a basket of gear from your team. Cast your ballot now at KSLNewsRadio.com. And may the best team win. It's KSL's Ballot Battle from the legacy home of the BYU Cougars. KSL News Radio.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunkt Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on 2 wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com's amazing work in action. Need the best in website and digital marketing solutions? AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Food brings people together, but many families don't know where their next meal is coming from. In Utah, 317,000 people, many of whom are children, are struggling with food insecurity. And Macy's is continuing the tradition of bringing hope to families in need. You can help provide hope by donating to Macy's Harvest of Hope Drive, now through November 30th. All donations will be donated to a local food bank to serve families in our communities. Purchase an icon for any amount or a prepackaged bag of food with items that food pantries need most at any Macy's store or online at Macys.com. Look for items tagged with the Harvest of Hope icon throughout the store. A portion of sales from those items will also be donated to local food pantries. Together, we can make a difference in our communities and provide hope to families and children facing food insecurity. Visit Macys.com or your local Macy's grocery store to learn more.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Febreze. So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up, then spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, Arches National Park says it will continue its timed entry program for a 4th year. Rangers say the positive reviews have encouraged them to bring back the reservation pilot program. Second, BYU and Utah will face each other on the gridiron this weekend for the first time in 3 years. Third, the average age of home buyers is now 56, according to a new report by the National Association of Realtors. Right now, it's 37 degrees in Salt Lake City. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
David Dujanovic.
We were just talking to Ogden Mayor Ben Nodowski. He certainly is not the only mayor who has to deal with concerns about parking issues, not enough parking. We know we've got plenty of stories, Dave and I do, about trying to park in downtown Salt Lake City. But one thing that he's pumped the brakes on is this potential move to paid parking. Is parking there in the downtown area, street parking, free right now?
Yes.
Okay.
100% free. Yep.
Okay. So it's 100% free. And as part of this plan, this parking solution plan, the potential was there to install kiosks that would have required payment to park.
That's
right?
an option. That's an option and a tool
okay.
that we're considering, and we're pressing pause to get more feedback on that tool and many, many others. And we want the feedback to come from the businesses, not just for us to them.
We're taking your phone calls, 801-575-TALK. Would love to hear from you. What would you like to see? Because none of us like paying for parking. We would all love to have free parking. But it also is impossible to find a parking place downtown, whether it's downtown Ogden or Salt Lake or Provo. Incredibly frustrating to want to go downtown, go to lunch, and then you just can't find anywhere to park. There's a few things that I'd like to address, Deb, regarding parking, but we'd love to hear from you folks. What are you willing to do? Are you willing to pay for parking in Ogden? Is that going to ease the pressure, or is that going to drive you away from downtown?
Well, I also like to hear about people's parking nightmare stories, frankly, because I think there's so many whether it's paid parking or not paid parking. You go downtown and there's just not enough parking.
It's like it's an afterthought. If I could pay you
to move your car out of that spot, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's what it comes down to. There just isn't enough parking in many cases. Now, on a morning like this morning, I might be able to drive around downtown Salt Lake and park anywhere I want. But come 5:30 tonight, I decide to meet my friends downtown to celebrate the end of the work week or whatever. I mean, it's you don't know how far away you're going to have to park. I recently parked probably half a mile away from the dinner spot I was meeting some friends at. And then it's metered. So I have 2 hours on a Friday night, it's about 5:30, to plug the meter, dash to, down some appetizers, down some dinner, and then run back to the meter because it's going to expire by 7:30.
Yeah, it's
It's not fun.
No.
It's all I could think about. I had to set an alarm on my watch to remind me to boost. I got to boost back.
There's one simple fix, and I don't know why cities don't do this. In Salt Lake is infamous for this. It is cheaper to park on the street than it is underground parking. And that should be reversed. It should be very expensive to park on the street where you have the convenience, and then it should be very cheap to park underground, underneath. And I don't know why we make street parking so affordable, because everyone is just, I will drive around in 30 loops to park on the street before I go and park underneath.
Well, all I know is when parking becomes the main focus of my night and what's going to happen to my car if I don't get back to it in time, it makes it it's just not fun. 801-575-TALK. Hi, Doug. You live in Ogden?
Hi, I sure do. So the biggest thing there's two big parking ramps downtown, but they're too far north. They're not convenient to 25th Street. So, and the other thing that didn't help anything was the county had a parking ramp at the Weaver Center that they tore down because it was crumbling, but that took away 200 plus parking spots. So the biggest thing is there needs to be parking that's convenient, because nobody's walking 5-7 blocks to park. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, and I think far too often we don't take that into account when we're building. We have to create space and make sure there's enough parking for it. I totally agree with you, Doug. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake in Magna. What's going on, Jake?
Hey, my opinion on this is that as long as it's affordable, I think I think to me it makes sense. I like that how we've moved to mobile apps where you can park, pay for it there, even extend time if you need it. The problem I have is that sometimes parking lots don't have access to certain things. For example, my wife and I and our baby went to the Himalayan Kitchen in Salt Lake, went to a parking lot nearby, and the elevators were not there was no access to elevators at the highest level, so we were having to stroll down our child all the levels to get to the restaurant.
30 loops, yeah, from the top down to the bottom.
Let's squeeze in Tom from Salt Lake. Tom, we got about 20 seconds. What's your take on parking?
I'd say just give the businesses a coin or something they can give to the people that buy stuff there, and they can use that for parking.
Well, yeah, that's a great idea.
Validation.
Oh.
Yeah, restaurants have been doing this forever. That's smart.
Remember my parking nightmare when we were covering the Olympic announcement at the City Hall building, City County buildings in downtown Salt Lake? Tell our listeners what happened. I drove us over there.
Yeah, you parked. We have
parking.
A 3-hour show. You had 2 hours of parking. So in the middle of the show, Debbie had to run out and go feed the meter. And you actually had to move the vehicle. Thankfully, there was a spot directly in front of you. Otherwise, it would have been the Dave show while you're driving around in circles trying to find parking.
I was sprinting to my car and sprinting back
to
our live
Deb.
remote so I didn't get a ticket or a tow during our show. Fun times.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. One day until the UCCU rivalry game, number 9 BYU versus Utah on KSL News Radio.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
It's 10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Salt Lake City police didn't find out about a shooting at West High School until hours after it happened yesterday. Investigators say it happened during the noon hour. They didn't find out until after 2 when a 15-year-old arrived at a hospital with a gunshot wound. Brent Weisberg is the spokesperson for the Salt Lake City Police Department.
We're working with school administrators to review surveillance video, to, again, review attendance records, trying to figure out who was at this parking lot when this fight happened.
Investigators say there was a fight in the parking lot, and during that, somebody fired a shot and hit the teen. Then everybody scattered, including the 15-year-old, who was later taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. 10 people are in custody. 5 have been released from the hospital after an anti-Semitic attack targeting Israeli soccer fans in Amsterdam. Amsterdam's mayor condemned what he described as hit-and-run attacks. The Dutch prime minister has told Israel's prime minister the perpetrators will be prosecuted. Your money at this moment. The Dow Jones average up on the day right now, 237 points. The NASDAQ is up, but just barely, less than 3 points. And our KSL weather looks like we've got a clear day ahead, but it's going to stay cool. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:02.
We hope you have the right app on your phone for news. You probably have dozens.
But the KSL News Radio app, well, it makes our live stream super easy.
Plus, our talk shows are right there as podcast for your workday.
That's the app for KSL News Radio.
This holiday season, join the Bells at Temple Square for their annual fall concert, A Season of Ringing. Friday and Saturday, November 22nd and 23rd at the historic Tabernacle on Temple Square in downtown Salt Lake City. This 32-member handbell choir concert will feature some of your favorite holiday songs, A Charlie Brown Christmas, Joy to the World, Sleigh Bells, and many more. This is a free concert, but tickets are required. Log on to thetabernaclechoir.org. That's thetabernaclechoir.org to claim your free tickets. The Bells at Temple Square Annual Fall Concert, A Season of Ringing, November 22nd and 23rd. Get your free tickets now at thetabernaclechoir.org.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select Costco locations in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local Costco today. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E. Breathe easy.
Higher taxes, soaring inflation, record low interest rates, and the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. The list goes on. Retiring successfully today is a lot more complicated than ever before. Learn how you can tackle the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement today. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio. It's this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL, News Radio 1027.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. Here's Heather Kelly.
We are delay-free all across the Wasatch Front right now. No problems on I-15, the east or west side belt routes, or the 201 freeway. You may run into some construction barrels, especially Legacy Parkway northbound from North Salt Lake through Woods Cross into Bountiful, but right now that's not causing slowdowns. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Chilly again today with a high of 42. Tomorrow we'll reach 53, 61, the expected high on Monday. Right now, 37 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio. Your voice, your vote 2024. Attorney General-elect Derek Brown. In-depth coverage on KSL News Radio.
AG-elect Derek Brown joining the show in just a few moments, because so rarely when we talk about politics and transition teams, when somebody new takes office, do we talk about it in terms of Republicans and Democrats, people from the other party being invited to the table to, peek under the curtain, figure out what's been going on for the last several years within an office and what needs to change, what's wrong, what's right, what needs to be fixed. I woke up this morning and I saw this headline. Derek Brown announces team to review Utah Attorney General's office. And beyond that headline, Dave, was details about who is going to be sitting on that review team.
What's refreshing to me is so often when you have a politician come in, they have a plan. They know exactly what they want to do. And they're like, I've got all the answers. I know exactly what I want to do. It's nice to see a little bit of humility to say, listen, I think I know what I want to do, but let's break it down to a very granular level. Let's get some experts together, people that have worked with the Attorney General's office, that have been impacted by the Attorney General's office, and let's really look under the hood, check out this engine, and see if it's running properly. Because if it's not, I should know it, and this is the perfect time to make massive changes.
Good morning, Derek. I should say Attorney General-elect Brown, good morning. Thanks for joining the show. Of course, we always like to let our listeners know we worked together from time to time here when you were hosting KSL at night, and now obviously stepped away from that and during your run for Attorney General. I saw this,
and it's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. I saw this headline this morning, but it was really the meat of the story that caught my attention, is that you have invited Democrats. You're a Republican. I want to make note of that. You have invited Democrats from different lines of work across the state to join your transition team. These are attorneys, they're authors, they are law enforcement officials. Why did you reach across the aisle? And you also have included Republicans in this mix too, but why reach across the aisle? Because quite frankly, I don't know of many who would do that.
Well, the reality is that I don't believe that partisan politics belongs in the Attorney General's office when it comes to things like law enforcement. And really, I mean, what we're doing is we're protecting Utahns. We're protecting the most vulnerable. And, as Dave mentioned, I'd like to think I've got all the answers, but the reality is I don't. And so what I did is sat down and said, who are the best and the brightest out there who know the different subject matters? And so, and if they don't agree with me on politics, that's okay. I don't care. I mean, so I've got a number of people that don't necessarily agree with me on politics. One of them is Greg Skordas, who was the Democrat nominee for AG 4 years ago. He's a fantastic attorney and, someone who I think I can benefit from. And so I have people like him, or Sheriff Rosie Rivera here in Salt Lake County. I have others who are on the other side of the political spectrum. But I think that's what makes a healthy transition team is I'm not interested in the proverbial yes man. I want someone who's willing to, tell me how things are and give it to me straight. And I think that's how you succeed
in protecting people in Utah. So that's what we've tried to do. I think we've got a really good team here that will be helping us.
What are some of the key areas of focus that you're looking towards?
Okay, great question. What I've done is I've got, one of the issues that, and you guys have talked about this on your show as well, are things like ethics. So, for instance, I have Representative Lowry Snow, who is a very well-known attorney. He used to be a legislator and president of the Utah Bar that's helping on things like ethics and what can we do to improve on what's there. Culture. I mean, the culture of the office. What can I do? I have Joseph Grenny, who's a New York Times bestselling author of the book Crucial Conversations. He's the chairman of the board of the Other Side Academy here in Utah. A phenomenal thinker and well-respected in that arena. I've got, in the world of criminal appeals, subject-specific things like that. I have the Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray, who is an expert in that and actually worked in the office in criminal appeals for many years. And so I've got people both that are currently in the office who have worked in the office as well as those who haven't. But I think that's how we get a good, sort of a good overall view of what is going right. And if there's things that we can improve on, I'm all ears.
Derek Brown, he's the Utah Attorney General-elect. He'll be taking office is it January, Derek?
Yes.
Yeah, January.
Yes, early January.
I think mostly, and it's probably a good thing for a lot of Utahns, because if the Attorney General's office is in your business, it's because there's been a problem with something that either you've done or you've been a victim of a crime that they're involved in investigating. But in a nutshell, for people who don't know, what I think it is a very, very critical law enforcement agency within our state. You prosecute a lot of crimes and, work with locals to investigate, local officials to investigate crimes that impact families. But in a nutshell, how would you, for somebody who doesn't know what the Utah AG's office does, give us maybe a 4-point quick laundry list you can tick through?
Oh, I could spend a lot of time on this, but let me, the very quick version, let me just highlight two things. Number one is law enforcement. There are specific things that the Attorney General will work on prosecuting, but a lot of what the Attorney General does is work with the 29 county district attorneys and county attorneys and sheriffs to help with their efforts and provide resources, because they are the primary law enforcement folks in the state of Utah. So there's that. But on a sort of larger scale, there are almost 300 attorneys in that office. So it is, in fact, the largest law firm in the state. And that law firm has one client, and that is the state of Utah and the people of Utah. And so one of the things that I'm looking very carefully at doing is how do we make sure that law firm, which is the largest law firm, is also the most effective, efficient, well-run, well-funded law firm in the state, because they provide the legal advice for all of the state agencies that impact the lives of people in Utah. And so you've got to have really good, quick, efficient legal counsel. And so those are, I think, the two biggest things that the office does.
Derek Brown, thank you so much for taking the time. Utah's Attorney General-elect, who's replacing Sean Reyes. He decided not to run this term. So Derek Brown won the election and will take over in January.
Yeah, and the reason we're talking to him this morning is because he's put together this transition team of not only Republicans. Of course, he's a member. He ran as a Republican, but also Democrats. So reaching across the aisle to include people like we talked to yesterday, former Senate Minority Leader Scott Howell, who was in fact on the phone line with us yesterday, saying that he was down in the South, in the South Carolina area, and had been helping out where he could for Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign. We know he hosted her during her visit here for the vice presidential debate a couple of years ago. So he is a Democrat through and through. Yet that's just one example of what AG-elect Derek Brown has done in terms of bringing in people from other side of the aisle into this transition team to see, what's right, what's wrong, and what needs to be fixed at the Attorney General's office here in Utah.
It's finally Friday with Dave and Dujanovic.
There in the distance, someone must have checked the wham. Oh, hold up, and abandoned plans for the good times, where forgotten roads take lost lives to beautiful kids on the coast.
From sun and near 60 this weekend.
And then a storm will get here late Monday into Tuesday.
To 47 and possible snow early next week.
Tuesday, cold front, rain, snow, showers.
Rely on KSL to forecast what's coming so you can keep moving.
We have you covered on KSL News Radio.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. Today, the movie show will be coming to you from NPS in Layton. They have just opened their doors, and people have been streaming in. And here's the thing, though. What they're walking into is a Christmas explosion.
Yes. Nicely done, Christopher. Thank you. We definitely wanted it to feel festive and ready for the season and just get people's minds off of everything crazy and think about what the season's about.
I want to know where you got the black trees with the black bulbs. Those are awesome.
Are these for sale or are these just for display?
These ones are for display, but we do have trees for sale.
Okay. So
not those trees, though.
Not those trees, though.
Dang it.
Now,
that's part of Ravicci.
Chris, one of the things, and I've talked with some of my friends who haven't been to NPS for a while, but they usually went to the Salt Lake store, and they said it's got kind of a warehousey feel. Right. The Layton store and the Orem store do not have that feel at all.
No, we are definitely more of like a big box store. We have that overall. The aesthetic is a lot more appealing. Not that Salt Lake isn't, because it's
right. And you guys are doing some amazing things in Salt Lake.
Amazing stuff going on there. So yeah, we have grocery here. We have clothing and Outback stuff, and so we just have collectibles, high-end collectibles with like Gucci and stuff.
The nice thing is the prices on the same products are the same at every store. It's just when you walk into this one, you're like, oh, you look at this. It's like a department store back in the day. You got ornaments hanging from the ceilings. It looks good. But really the best thing is when you start looking at the prices, which are 20 to 70% off retail, even before it hits the shelves.
Right, correct.
And that's what you want to take advantage of.
Yes. We're always on sale. Everything is always on sale in the store. And then we do sales on top of the sale. So being already priced low, we have additional sales. So like right now we have 10% off grocery today.
Ooh.
Our whole grocery department.
Well. Dang it.
Hello.
And I got paid today. This is a bad combination. This is a bad combination. I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to wander over there today because I'm going to end up with a full cart. But I am. It's totally going to happen. So come take advantage of NPS pricing. 20 to 70% off retail on items. Grocery, not 20 to 70% off, but it is equal to or better than what you can get at the regular grocery store. So check out their 4 locations, 2 in Salt Lake, 1 in Orem, and here in Layton at 1150 North Main.
The Advanced Window Products end-of-season sale is happening now. Your chance to get beautiful new state-of-the-art windows and save a bundle on your energy bill. Call Advanced Window Products now, and they'll give you $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. We're talking about custom frames and sealed double-pane glass, any style, any color, and they're created just for you right here in Utah. You need a doggy door inlaid into the glass? They do it all the time. In fact, Advanced Window Products has been building the highest quality windows Windows here in Salt Lake City for 38 years, so there's no middleman and you save money. They build the windows, they install the windows, and they guarantee them for life. So keep the heat inside with new windows. The energy companies will even give you a rebate. Advanced Window Products offer 0% financing, affordable monthly payments, and now $2,500 off on 10 windows or more. Call them right now, 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with human kindness is here. Hello, human kindness.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Amanda Dixon. First, Arches National Park says it will continue its timed entry program for a 4th year. Rangers say the positive reviews have encouraged them to bring back the reservation pilot program. Second, BYU and Utah will face each other on the gridiron this weekend for the first time in 3 years. Third, the average age of home buyers is now 56, according to a new report by the National Association of Realtors. Right now, it's 37 degrees in Salt Lake City. Back to David Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic.
I missed the cue on that. Wait, let me do this again. Hold on. We got to do this because I'm excited about this. Big game this weekend. Look, I know y'all have been having years of fun talking about politics with us here on this show. So we're going to mix it up this weekend. Sorry about this. We're going to give your brain a rest, and we're going to talk about the big rivalry game Saturday night. It's Utes and BYU Cougars, Dave.
It's the big game. It is the biggest game. There is no game that compares. And anyone that has ever tried to downplay the importance of the rivalry game, I want to grab them by the shoulders and say, are you losing your mind? Because this is the only game that matters. BYU is 8-0 right now. They have a perfect record. And I do not care about any of those victories when I'm looking at the Utes game.
So what I'm really excited about it, Mitch, is that I bought an app. It's a sports app. It's on my TV. I've jumped the shark with that for the first time ever, and I'm going to be able to watch. I think I'm going to be able to watch the game tomorrow night in the comfort of my living room. I've already got plans. We're going to have a great time. BYU insider Mitch Harper live on the line. I can watch it on TV, right?
You can. It's on ESPN, so
awesome.
Yeah, you'll be able to watch it.
I've got that. I've got an app for that, so I'm so excited. What's the mood?
There's a lot of excitement for BYU. They're going to be, driving up to Salt Lake a little bit later tonight, settle in and get ready for this game. First trip to Rice-Eccles since 2018. But, what's been impressive about BYU this year is that they have this ability to just kind of move on to the next task, and they're not fazed by all the additional pressure that comes with staying undefeated. This has been a really good team that way, and now they got the task of trying to take down Utah and Salt Lake, which they haven't done in 18 years.
Mitch, give us an idea, because this has historically been the best game of the season. I mean, it's the most interesting game is the rivalry game, but BYU and Utah have not crossed paths as often as many fans have wanted. Why hasn't BYU and Utah been playing this game every single year?
That was a deal on Utah's end. Utah made it clear when BYU was an independent, they wanted to play, the Michigans and the Floridas of the world, and that was fine. And then, BYU goes to the Big 12, and they still wanted to keep Utah on the schedule. And, well, now it ends up being a conference game as Utah comes over to the Big 12. But, that was more on the end of Utah when it came to scheduling. BYU's AD, Tom Homo, always made the Utah game a priority, and it felt like for stretches where Utah wanted to, optics-wise, make it look like they were farther ahead than BYU. And sure, being in the Pac-12, they were, in a bigger platform, more money than BYU. But now it's even stage. All things are equal now in the same conference for the first time since 2010, and the Big 12 has protected this matchup. So every year we're going to see this game as long as these two teams are still in the Big 12. So it's exciting to see it actually means something more than just bragging rights, because that's what it's been for the past decade. Now it actually has an impact on the conference race.
Mitch, a little strange that BYU and Utah, or Utah wouldn't make this a priority. Obviously, their head coach, Kyle Whittingham, played at BYU. Kalani Sitake was a coach at Utah, has a great relationship with Kyle Whittingham. Why was there so much animosity over the years?
It's a good question. I mean, I think that, I think Utah wanted to just kind of extend its reach a bit by playing the teams like Florida. But I do think, to your point about Whittingham and Sitake, they do have a good relationship. And, Kalani has been very public about, what Utah means to him, because, they gave him a great opportunity, a breakthrough in coaching. And if it wasn't for Kyle Whittingham, who's to say, Kalani's here today as BYU's head coach. There's a lot of gratitude on Kalani's end, and I think Whittingham's got gratitude. He doesn't show it as publicly as Kalani does. He doesn't even say the letters BYU that often, but I think there's a lot of respect between the coaching staffs, and there's a lot of crossover. I mean, BYU's defensive coordinator, Jay Hill, played at Utah, and, Kyle Whittingham extended his thoughts to Jay Hill earlier in the season when Jay had a heart attack before the season started. So there's a lot of respect between the coaching staffs. And I think also, too, between the players, there's a lot of respect there, too. But when between the lines, you want to win this game because people know that this game can define legacies. And if you can win this one, man, you can become a hero for years to come for these fan bases.
Well, just from a fan's point of view, and remember, I mean, I'm an ASU grad, so I'm a Sun Devil through and through, but my daughter is a grad, U of U grad, so we'll be probably rooting for the Utes. BYU insider Mitch Harper joining us live right now, but I am really proud of what BYU's accomplished this year. I come in every time they wrap up a game. We come in on a Monday, and I tell Dave, I'm like, they're still undefeated. That is amazing. Congratulations, Cougar fans.
It's pretty remarkable because, I mean, it's probably one of the most unexpected seasons I've ever witnessed from BYU football. I mean, coming into this year, I predicted 6-6, and for them to be 8-0 and be atop the Big 12 and have a chance to, go to the college football playoff in the first year of the 12-team playoff era, it's special stuff. And and they're doing it with a quarterback who, Jake Retzlaff, who really no one on the outside believed that he could be a star quarterback, and now he's one of the best stories in college football this year. So it has been remarkable, but this will be, tomorrow night, the toughest test in terms of the best defense they are going to face, because Utah, even though their offense is struggling mightily right now, Utah's defense is maybe the best in the Big 12. So it's going to be, BYU's offense has to be at its best if they want to take down the Utes on Saturday night.
Mitch, in the final minute that we have, is everything ruined with BYU's season if they lose to the Utes?
That's a great question, Dave. I mean, can you point to a great BYU season that involved a loss to Utah? You can't. And I think it would have a potential hangover effect if in the remaining games, because this isn't the last game of the year, so this could carry over into the following weeks if they did lose this game. I think it would definitely take out the good vibes, if you will, if they did lose this game. So I don't think
it doesn't necessarily kick them out of the possibility of a Big 12 championship or the playoffs. I mean, there's still an outside chance, right?
And that's still the saving grace. But man, again, you can't point to a season in BYU history that is revered as one of the great seasons of all time that involves a loss to Utah. It's never happened. So if you want to be one of the great BYU teams, you've got to beat Utah.
Mitch, before you go, I want to make sure I'm giving you a plug as well about all your coverage coming up. So can you tick through what you've got in store for us here at KSL News Radio and our listeners this weekend?
Yeah, thanks, Debbie. High noon tomorrow, noon to 3, Cougar Sports Saturday. Myself and Matt Biamonte will be at Roland Hall. We'll have interviews with players, coaches, former players during those 3 hours, and then we'll have extended pregame at 6 o'clock, and then all of the written coverage, digital content on KSLSports.com. So wall-to-wall coverage. It's going to be a lot of fun. And also my Ute colleague, Steve Bartle, he's going to hold it down on the Ute side on KSLSports.com too. So going to be a loaded day tomorrow. Can't wait.
Can we listen to the game here on KSL News Radio too?
Yes. The game will be here on KSL News Radio, 8:15 kickoff. And you can hear the call and on the KSL News Radio app as well.
It's going to be tricky for me, Mitch, because I'm going to be watching it on TV, and I have got my brand new AirPods. I'll have those in, and I'll be listening to you guys right here on KSL News Radio, calling the game, calling all the shots before the game, listening to the interviews. But I'm going to try to do two things at once, just for you, Mitch. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This is such a fun thing. I'm so excited about it. We have been planning for it, even through like election coverage. My daughter and I were planning for what are we going to do this Saturday? We are going to be watching the game. We're going to be having fun at our home, listening and into it as well.
There's no fun to this. I am so nervous. I'm a nervous wreck. The rivalry game, I put so much pressure on the rivalry game. I love it. It's my favorite game of the year, no question, but I am absolutely tied up in knots over this. BYU's had an incredible season, ranked 9th in the country, a perfect 8-0, and this is the biggest game of the season. And BYU, if they want those magical years, they got to beat BYU, and we will cover this every step of the way here at KSL News Radio.
It's 10:31 at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top local story this hour. A Utah senator's name is being thrown around for a possible position in the Trump administration. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports.
Senator Mike Lee could potentially be named as U.S. Attorney General, but he did tell the Deseret News he's not particularly interested. He said, quote, "I have the job I want." He's been a senator for the Beehive State for the last 10 years. He's been very vocal about his support for the former president, but he wasn't always a big fan. He actually voted for independent candidate Evan McMullen back in 2016, but later became closer to the Trump administration. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
A man was rescued from the Weber River this morning near the power plant on I-84. Utah Highway Patrol says the man was fishing off the bank and fell in. Traffic was at a crawl from South Ogden headed toward Mountain Green, while crews closed a lane of the freeway during that rescue. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. Police in a small town in South Carolina still trying to round up 43 rhesus monkeys that escaped from a research lab this week. They've set up traps and used thermal imaging to spot them hiding in the trees. Now police say they're harmless, but locals are being advised to stay indoors. Your money at this moment, the Dow Jones average, up on the day right now, 258 points, while the NASDAQ is down, but just barely, about 3 points. And our KSL weather going to stay cool today, and cool kickoff expected tomorrow. That's next. KSL News Time, 10:32.
It's a priority for us at this station to bring you all sides of a story and to talk about the news fairly, completely.
Get all the facts and be really aware. Utah's Morning News with us, Tim and Amanda.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9 on KSL News Radio.
Step into the warmth of the holidays at Western Nut. We're here to make gift-giving special and stress-free. Grandpa's favorite peanut brittle, a gift basket with a variety of nuts and treats for your neighbor who brings in your garbage cans. How about your coworkers? Yep, we've got you covered with our nut gift boxes, pre-wrapped in holiday paper, homemade caramels, baking nuts, popcorn brittle, dried fruit trays, and cashews galore. Local honey and jams, and our Nut of the Month subscription give a variety of nut gift boxes straight to their door. Our shop is a winter wonderland, and this year, join us to kick off our huge holiday preview sale and save on everything in store. 4th South and 3rd West, November 7th, 8th, and 9th. Stuck at the North Pole? Visit westernut.com or call our team, who will take your order and ship your gift with care. Western Nut has been a part of Utah family traditions for nearly 60 years. More than nuts. At Western Nut Company, we sell memories.
It's the movie show, guys. We made the drive north to Layton, to the NPS, the gorgeous Christmas flocked store. It smells of cinnamon as you walk in.
It does.
And you'll see gorgeous Christmas trees. And I say flocked because I accidentally brushed up against the tree, and now I have some snow on my pants.
Oh, boy.
But it's corduroy, so it attracts literally everything with even the slightest bit of static
By the way, those cinnamon pine cones are here available. A bag for $4.15. Is that what I saw?
It could be.
Julie, you don't have all the prices memorized?
I don't have all the
right
prices memorized. I just got
She just
here.
looks at the big picture.
Yes, I'm very. It's beautiful. Wait till you see this store. You need to come in and see it. We have we've got a
yeah,
lot
we were
of things
saying
going
if your
today.
only experience has been at the Salt Lake store, you should come and check out the Layton store. Anybody who lives in Davis or Weber County, it's a short drive straight down the freeway. You get right off at Hillfield Road. You turn to the west side, turn right if you're coming from the north, left if you're coming from the south, and it's right here.
You're
Super
such a
easy to
traffic
check
guy.
out. I can't. It's in my DNA. I've been doing it for too long. But then you're here, and you can check out all the things, including 20 to 70% off of retail price on brand new items. I haven't even wandered through the clothing yet because I'm like, if I go through, I'm going to buy something.
So this guy knows what he's doing. He just grabbed 2 grocery carts or shopping carts.
When he walked in. That's smart. I mean,
he knows what he's doing.
You guys had a line out the door like you do every day. There's a reason people line up at the door before they open to come into NPS. Igor, you came up to see us here in Layton. We're so happy to have you with us.
That's not why he came up. He got lost.
Invited me. What a beautiful store.
Oh.
And I want to tell everybody, before you do before you buy your coats, your winter coats, come over to MPS. We have amazing prices. And if you're a skier, come to MPS first. We have the clothing, we have the goggles, we have everything.
Cool.
Naturally.
Yes.
You got some snowboards over at the industrial side too?
Yes, I believe we do. Yeah.
And skis?
Yes,
I love it.
Yes, it's great.
Well, so what are some other things that we can look for? So first of all, each store has its own sales every day. Is that correct?
Yes.
And each one, they have a daily deal.
We have a daily deal. Today it's going to be 10% off additional on our grocery.
In
the Layton store only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you said each
Layton
store
store
has its
only.
own.
Each store. Yeah.
Igor's like, don't tell them that at the Salt Lake store.
Not the Salt Lake, but here in Layton, and it's a
come
really
on in.
good deal.
It's going to blow your mind. This place looks amazing.
Yes, and we've got turkeys now. Turkeys are in all the stores, but 99 cents a pound.
99 cents a pound here at Layton, or in all the stores.
And if it's 10% off, you've got a little extra.
So come get your bird for 99 cents a pound.
Yes.
At NPS locations in Orem, Salt Lake, and here at 1150 North Main in Layton.
Traffic and weather together are brought to you by Sinclair's DinoPay app. Save up to 20 cents per gallon. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, things are moving along pretty well all across the Wasatch Front. No delays right now. I-15 throughout Utah, Salt Lake, or Davis counties. And a good commute whether you're coming out of Tooele County on I-80 or going through Parley's Canyon to and from Park City. But we do have a water main breakdown in Provo. This is at the intersection of 900 East Temple View Drive, so there may be some lane restrictions there, and police are asking people to avoid the area. Enjoy Utah's beautiful snow with winter tubing fun for the family at Soldier Hollow Nordic Center in Midway. Their 1,200-foot sliding lanes mean longer rides and more time to slide. Book now at UtahOlympicLegacy.org. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Chilly again today with a high of 42. Tomorrow, 53, a high of 61 expected on Monday. And right now, 39 degrees and sunny. I'm Dan Bomas from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com for Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Well, anytime I can needle Dave with a good story, I take advantage of it. I'm going to say 2 words. Timed entry. Okay, no reaction. Timed entry at your favorite national park. Okay, no reaction. You got to figure out when you're going to go, and you got to make sure you get a reservation.
Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, sometimes timed entry to what? We do timed entries all the time, right? Whenever there's a basketball game, there's a timed entry. When you go to a movie, there's a timed entry. But this is something at Arches National Park that bit me and almost ruined my vacation.
I want to hear this.
My daughter and I.
Okay, let me just set up our listeners real quick. We are going to talk about some pretty big changes that are coming to timed entry, like your reservation at Arches National Park in 2025. But before we get to that juicy part of the story, Dave wants to tell about the time he got bitten.
Because of timed entry. So I used to run rivers, whitewater rafting guide, not in Arches, but down in Moab. Yeah. Moab's 5 minutes away from Arches. So anyway, I've hiked Delicate Arch probably 100 times I would guide and then go on hikes.
Okay.
I've done this a million times.
I thought maybe you were like a marathon runner.
No.
This is like part of your job.
This was my job.
okay.
And so we would run the river, and then the next day we would hike Delicate Arch. I've done this a million times. Well, I take my daughter down there, senior year. We go whitewater rafting, and then I'm going to take her to Arches. We're going to hike Delicate Arch.
Fun dad-daughter trip. Nice.
It was outstanding.
I love it.
I go to arrive, and you just get in line, and you pay your fee, and you go into Arches.
Wah, wah, wah.
Exactly what happened. They're like, you don't have a reservation? You can't get in. I'm like, what are you talking about? We are down here literally for this. I hadn't heard a thing. I'd never heard of this. And they said, yeah, you have to have a reservation. Like, well, can I get a reservation? Like, well, you have to go online. I couldn't do it right there with them. So I had to go online. I'm sitting in the parking lot, pulling up my phone, trying to find a reservation, trying to create a login, putting in my credit card information. And luckily, there was one time 4 or 5 hours out.
Oh, really?
That we were able to snag at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but we were 4 or 5 hours out.
You got to hit the back of Beyond Bookstore then on Main Street and just hang out there.
Well, we ended up, filling up some time, went and saw Dead Horse Point, which is gorgeous, beautiful, fantastic. But nevertheless, we didn't think we were going to get in. And we were pretty lucky because there was only one slot. And this is a problem with kind of going back and forth and opening it up and then having timed entries. I wish we would just say, okay, everything is timed entry, or everything is open it up and just let people in, first come, first serve, whatever it might be, because that can absolutely, people come from all over the world to do this one hike, to get into Arches, to see the unbelievable beauty. And this back and forth of, sometimes we do have timed entries, sometimes we don't, is a mess.
Okay. You need to take a break.
Can I take a breath?
Yeah, you might want to just leave the building because we're going to talk about
little wound up, Deb.
New changes that are in store for 2025. But I will tell you this, with a lesson that I've learned with time entry, and I tell my kids this when they're traveling to one of our national parks. And usually I'm looped in on this because it's, Mom, what about the National Park Pass? Do you have one? Yeah. You know what I mean? And I do buy one every year, and you can share it with one person, so it gets passed around. But I always say, check the park you're going to see if they are under a timed entry or a reservation system. My daughter went up to Glacier National Park with her boyfriend this summer, and I said to them, make sure and get on well in advance. Here I am in mom mode. Make sure you get on well in advance, because what you don't want to do is for that 3 days you're in Glacier or staying around Glacier is try to make the reservation when you get there, because it's a super popular place in the summer. Let's get to Arches. What are they doing? So they've had this plan in place for a while now. It's been a few years, so we should all be used to it. Current program runs, according to this KSL.com article, from April 1st through October 31st. And then you got to buy the entry tickets. It's about $2. It's not bad. And then you select your arrival times between 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. Obviously, probably last entry time is 4 p.m. because you're going to spend a few hours in the park. Major changes for 2025. There's going to be some significant modifications. No time entry required, Dave, between the hot summer days of July 7th and August 26th.
So when it's 113 degrees, come on, friends.
But the good news is, get a 4 p.m. if you can. If you're not worried about, you should always worry about the heat when you're out, but if you're not affected by the heat, the way some people might be, is that July 7th to August 26th is usually a slower visitation period. So you're going to be there. Yeah, it's going to be the heat of the summer. You're going to have to take precautions with that. Plenty of water, shade, sunscreen, hats, etc. But it's not going to be competing with a lot of people on those trails. And then regular time entry will get kicked back in at the end of August, just ahead of Labor Day weekend. So if you're going to head to Arches, Labor Day weekend, time entry, and this is what makes Dave's blood boil, will be back in place. So you can start with reservations in January for April. So right after the first of the year, mark your calendars, January 2nd, you're going to hop online, you're going to make your April reservation, and then February 1st for May reservation, and so on.
That is so incredibly difficult to keep track of. Are you kidding? There's no way I'm going to remember all that.
That's
crazy.
why I was saying it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm setting you up for
that's
a hot
bonkers.
take.
Yeah, it's impossible to follow what you just said. But let's just say this. Just assume there's reservations. Let's just plan on it and be, surprised and delighted if you don't have to hit the reservations. I will say this, though. Because of the reservation system, when you go in, the park experience itself is much better. It's not overcrowded. You're not parking on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere because the parking lots are full. The experience at Arches, because of reservations, is far better. I love that. I support that. You can keep the bathrooms more clean that way. It's just a better experience. But the back and forth impossibility, trying to keep track of it, is a nightmare. But if you're going to travel, like you said, Deb, make sure you check out, do you need a reservation or not?
It's Friday. With Dave and Dujanovic.
Bill Riley here with University of Utah head football coach Kyle Whittingham. Now tell me, Coach Witt, what's your philosophy on a winning team?
I believe the key to winning is a strong offensive line. When the linemen do their job, nothing gets through to the quarterback, so he can do his job.
Well, what happens if the linemen don't do their job?
Ouch. Bill, I recently learned that kidneys work like linemen for your body. When your kidneys work, they block poisons and chemicals from your blood.
Coach, I've heard that 1 in 9 Americans have some form of kidney disease. What can we do to fight back?
Join me, Coach Kyle Whittingham, and be part of the winning team against kidney disease. Donate your used car or truck to the Kidney Foundation. Your car will be towed for free, and you'll get a receipt for a tax deduction. Tell them how to do that, Bill.
Donate your car to the Kidney Foundation today and make your car a kidney car. Cars to save lives. Call 1-800-TOW-CARS. That's tow cars. Cars with a K. 1-800-TOW-CAR.
Every year, the National Kidney Foundation helps individuals and families affected by kidney disease. Help them out by making your car a kidney car. Call 1-800-TOW-CARS.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, and we're joined by the Layton NPS store manager, Justin. Justin, we haven't yet thrown out all the awesome deals yet. We already know, and we tell everybody, why you want to shop at NPS all the time. Even if you've already been to the Layton NPS store this week, you should come back today. Why, Justin?
Well, we've made so many changes to this store. I mean, when you walk in, you feel it immediately. It feels like the holidays. We have so many great deals. Everything's 20 to 70% off. Groceries are 10% off today. That should be a big enough draw on its own.
That's a great draw.
I mean, that's a huge discount for what is already really, really low price. So
yeah,
it just feels great.
I only buy my ice cream at NPS.
Yeah,
seriously,
there's some ridiculously low prices for sure.
I love it. And the grocery, you know what? Actually, I took advantage of this name brand soda, 4 for $1. So I've got 24 cans. It's going to cost me $6.
You're good to go. Yep.
And it's going to be 10% off of that.
Absolutely.
I just realized that it's going to be $5.40 because I can do the math in my head.
You're like Forrest Gump when it comes to this stuff. That's amazing.
Hey, if you want to maximize your dollar, and let's face it, right now's the time, especially as we come up into the holidays. Igor was telling us, don't buy your winter coats. It's freezing out there now. Don't buy your winter coats until after you've gone to NPS.
How many pallets did they say they had?
A lot.
A lot, yeah.
I believe the scientific exact number was a lot.
A gazillion?
I mean, with clothing and clothing accessories 50% off, it's a win all the way around.
And that's 50% off of 20 to 70% off its original price. And the tag with the original price still hanging on it.
Exactly.
So you'll get to see the deals that you got. Don't waste your time going somewhere else. Come here first, get everything you need, and then go somewhere else. That's what I say.
Absolutely.
Any deals specific for movie show listeners at NPS today?
Well, like I mentioned,
besides the 10% off here in Layton.
For movie show listeners today, we have clothing and accessories 50% off, bedding and linen 50% off.
Okay.
We've got so many great deals. I just encourage you to come into the store, check it out, ask for me personally. I'll show you around.
Get a tour from store manager Justin at Layton NPS, 1150 North Main, right off the freeway. Easy to get to from anybody in Davis and Weber County. Come say hi to the movie show. We're going to be here until 1 at NPS.
I served my country honorably in the Marine Corps, and for almost 3 decades, I've dedicated my life to serving you. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth. I met my incredible wife on a blind date at Camp Lejeune. She also served in the Marines. My son, an Air Force veteran, and my daughter are on our team. I'm sharing this because Trajan Wealth is more than just a business. It's our family's legacy based on trust and integrity. We're here to manage your money and fight for your dreams. Our fiduciary duty is to put your needs first, always. If you have an old 401k collecting dust, or if your current advisor isn't meeting your needs, let's talk. At Trajan Wealth, we're ready to take on your retirement challenges one at a time. Honor the sacrifices of those who served by taking action for your future. Call us today.
801-899-7600. That's 801-899-7600.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
With the 3 things you need to know this hour, I'm Dan Bomas. First, a U.S. Senator from Utah is being mentioned as a possible member of President Trump's cabinet. Second, police in one small town in South Carolina are trying to recapture dozens of monkeys that escaped from a research lab. And third, BYU and Utah back in the football rivalry business tomorrow night. 39 degrees and sunny in Salt Lake City. And back to Dave and Dujanovic on KSL News Radio.
Dave and Dujanovic.
Well, it's Friday, and as you know,
The following preview has been rated G and is appropriate for all audiences.
we're going to talk to the movie guys about the big movie of the week. And Dave, you were just watching the preview for, what movie is it?
The best Christmas pageant ever. It looks hilarious. I love a Christmas movie. Every single Christmas on Christmas Eve, that's what my family does. We go to a Christmas movie. Or we just go to a movie on Christmas Eve. So this is something we love doing. This, I'm excited to hear from the boys here. Please tell me this is good. Please.
Well, I liked it a lot, but I don't know if I hope it's still in theaters on Christmas Eve when your family goes to a movie, Dave. But
Nosferatu?
But Nosferatu's the one that the Noriega family's already got tickets for.
Oh, that's true. I got in trouble one year for taking my kids on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day to see the live action Pinocchio. They just stared at me for
work.
So
2
It's so
hours.
creepy. That is so creepy.
Did not work. All right, so best Christmas pageant ever. Now, here's the question. Dave, did you read this as a kid in school?
No.
This was a big thing in the 70s and the early 80s. It was actually part of school curriculums in Utah.
Dave was like 2 back then.
Dave is my age.
Oh, okay. He just turned 49 this week.
I was going to say the birthday that I heard about, that puts him at my age. We're like
49.
a month apart in age. Me and
Best
him.
Christmas pageant ever. So it was required reading?
No, it was just something that we read.
It was a cute
Oh,
book.
like they give you a list of books. I grew up in Arizona, so I wasn't familiar with that.
Was it a chapter book, or was this... Isn't that what
It was a pop-up.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's what it is, though. Okay, so it is based on a book, but it's been a stage play, and it was an 80s TV movie starring Loretta Swit and Fairuza Balk, who was Bobby Boucher's girlfriend in The Waterboy.
It was awful.
It was not.
Oh, wait,
it
wait,
was awful.
So maybe
It
that's
was
where
not.
I've heard of it before, too, is if it was a TV movie and Loretta Swit from MASH.
Yes.
Oh,
In
yeah.
about
Okay.
1983-ish.
Yeah.
Barking at those
Liz
kids.
Houlihan. Okay.
So basically, here's the plot is that there's this family in town called the Herdmans, and they're the bullies, and there's like 5 or 6 of the kids. Their parents are never around. They steal lunch monies. They set things on fire. The girls smoke cigars.
Yeah.
And
Drink,
one day,
smokes.
this kid, he's getting bullied, and he finally says, "You can steal my lunch money. I don't care because I can get all the treats and cake and treats and everything that I want at church on Sunday."
Uh-oh.
And they're like, and then when the
Tell me
Herdmans
more.
show up to church on
Go
Sunday,
on.
they happen to show up the day that they're putting together the the church's annual Christmas pageant, and all the kids decide they're going to be in the Christmas pageant. So they bully all the kids out of all the roles. So the roles are filled with nothing but these herdmans.
Nobody else would dare raise their hand. They were getting side-eye from the herdmans, yeah.
Exactly. And so the main character, Beth's mom, who's played in this movie, her name's Grace. She's played by Judy Greer.
Love.
She ends up with the pageant. She doesn't usually do it, but the person who normally did it broke her leg and can't get out of bed, and so Grace takes it on. And, of course, all the old biddies at church are like, we got to get these herdmans away
you're
from
going
them.
deep and long here.
Yeah. Well, this is basically what the movie's about.
Oh, yeah, well.
But then Grace...
We've been
Ding
canceled.
dong. Grace decides, hey, and as all the people are like, you shouldn't let the herdmans be in the story. And she's like, why not? And
True
through
Christian.
the actual story of them playing the different parts in the nativity, they've never heard the story before. And so it's just, I loved it. I loved it. I liked the story already. I loved this version that they put together.
I like what they did when they said, why would these wise men show up with some scented oils and some spice? It's a little kid. Get him some food.
Give him something that's worthwhile. And it's just done marvelously. As the
It's
story
really-
itself changes all the participants, the kids, it changes the adults, and it's just done marvelously. It's directed by Dallas Jenkins, who created The Chosen, and he knows how to tell. And guess what? Here's the thing. It's a Christmas movie that is shockingly about Christmas, but with the religious part of Christmas.
And a great companion
Nice.
piece for a Christmas story because it looks like a Christmas story.
And it is told as a memory. That's what the producers. I interviewed the producers this week for a movie show, Digital Extra, and they said this. And part of the reason some of the different people are kind of caricatures is because this is the one girl's memory of it. So everyone has kind of an exaggerated, like you'd see as a kid looking at an adult.
Yeah.
So what at first just seems like another sort of, oh, look, the religious people are really super judgmental, but it's kind of told through the memory of this kid recalling it later. It's just, I thought it was marvelously done.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I am so happy. Sometimes you get bait and switched a little bit on the trailer if this trailer is outstanding, but I look forward to that movie. All right, what's the big question of the week?
The movie show question of the week, because this is based on a book, we decided to have the movie show question be, what is the best or worst movie made from a book that you loved as a kid?
Ooh, okay. Let me get yours. I guess I didn't.
You didn't know about the as a kid.
Is that
part.
not what you understood?
I didn't do it as a kid.
You didn't read?
Sorry, I didn't read the full question. Okay, because
That's all right. You understood it as just your favorite one made from a book.
well, okay. So a lot of kids watch this.
The time has come to select one courageous young man and woman for the honor of representing District 12 in the 74th Annual Hunger Games.
So this was one that I loved. I thought it was a great adaptation, and my kids loved it as well. They saw the movie first and then read the book afterwards. But I thought that was one of the best movies to books that I've seen recently.
How about you guys?
Games?
How about you guys?
So for me, I loved it's.
Oh, you're
this
not
is
going
so
to do
stupid.
this.
Oh, I have a rant for the worst, and I may get to that. But one of the ones that I loved, and this is going to seem super simple, but a book I loved as a kid. I loved the Beverly Cleary, Henry Huggins, and Ramona and Beezus books.
Oh, that was cute.
And the Ramona and Beezus movie with Selena Gomez and Joey King from about 2010, I just thought was exactly how you could adapt a book series into a single movie. And it took some of the highlights of the different books and put it into a movie that kind of just encompassed the whole narrative. I just thought it was really, really well done, and that was something that I really loved as a kid. Now, on the other hand, I hated the adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory
Here we
with
go.
Gene Wilder, okay? The Willy Wonka and the Chocolate
so
Factory.
much time and so little to see. Wait a minute. Strike that. Reverse it.
Okay, Andy, give us your pitch in 30 seconds, and we're going to turn things
It
over to you.
completely betrays the character of Charlie Bucket. He's not supposed to steal the soda and only win the thing because he gives back the gobstopper. Even as like maybe a 15-year-old or whenever I saw it the first time, I was enraged that they switched his character so bad that I can't even forgive it. I can't even overlook the stuff that I
Were
liked
you
about it.
acrimonious?
I was. I was outraged. I was trying to go into my Jackie Childs there, but I know some people love Willy Wonka.
Andy,
but I
you've
hated
never
that.
been more
Thank
right.
you, Dave. Thank you.
I felt the exact same way. You're an inspiration. It doesn't matter how good Gene Wilder was in that. It was absolutely a betrayal of Charlie. Well, thanks, guys. We look forward to the movie show coming up right now.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City. One day until the UCCU rivalry game, number 9 BYU versus Utah on KSL News Radio.
It's 11 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Dan Bomas. KSL's top story this hour. Salt Lake City police say a 15-year-old was shot in a parking lot near West High School yesterday. Nobody reported it. The police only found out because the victim turned up at the hospital, and they're investigating the case now. Investigators say a natural gas leak is the likely cause of the home explosion in South Jordan this week. That explosion killed a 15-year-old boy. KSL TV's Lauren Steinbrecher met with neighbors who say they're rallying around the family.
Crews work into the night around what used to be a South Jordan family's home, what used to be the home next door to CJ Mansfield.
It was pretty overwhelming to see, what had happened.
Investigators believe a natural gas leak caused the explosion. CJ's neighbors lost their son, lost everything.
15-year-old boy, that's heartbreaking. My daughter was pretty close to his age, and they carpooled together and things like that.
Investigators say they're still trying to determine the